I'm going to go on a little bit about this water wheel that I was talking about, which could be the biggest, highest in the United States, if not the world, overshot water wheel. Uh, and not a lot about that wheel, but a few things. One is I mentioned that there was a problem or something that had to be dealt with an inverted siphon. Periodically, you've got to make sure that there's no sediment at the bottom. Well, with a regular siphon, the problem is if a bubble gets up there, if an air section gets up in there, well, then the siphon stops. Uh, so they both have problems, but they're not big problems. And of course, they're completely green once they're built. I mean, they have nothing to do with fossil fuels. Uh, so that was one thing. Another thing, why you can't just go with a straight head race, from the spring the whole way out. Well, for one thing, it would have to go through the town, which you couldn't do. I mean, it would block all the traffic. You simply couldn't do it. But once you get to that site where you're out of the town, you come to the train track, and the train track is is built up really high because it's on this gradual rise coming through the gap and going out into the Morrison's Cove, and a train has to pass through there too, which is huge. So there's no way you're going over. You have to go under the train track, which is what the penstock, and I am going to call it a penstock because that's what it does. And I thought more about it, and I think all that machinery, maybe not every bit, well, almost all of that machinery in the original paper mill, it was not driven by electricity or even diesel fuel. It was probably driven by a turbine. A penstock can not only power a Pelton wheel, it can also, or various kinds of impulse wheels, it can also power a turbine. And turbines ended up taking over. But I checked on a Pelton wheel, and they got to be as high as 90% efficient. That's that's like almost twice as efficient as what you think of as an undershot water wheel. That's really high. And the turbine maybe more, but not a lot more than that. And so that power was probably mechanical. And I know that the machinery in the paper mill was rope driven because I have a lot of the rope. When they periodically they had to change the ropes because they'd wear out. And not only about that big to drive the machinery, a strong rope. So I suspect that was all mechanical. And Jeff said that he's got all the books from back at that time. He probably has the charts as well of how that mill was laid out. So I wanted to say about that, and there's probably something else, but instead though, I want to shift to once again the idea of a garden. Forget the wheel if you want, but could that be garden? Now, Jeff at first, when I mentioned that, he started to say you couldn't. Well, I right away said I don't mean for food, I mean for beauty. I mean a botanical garden, and so once again I think about Europe, and I've been to many of them, and I've watched videos of many of the finest arboretums and botanical gardens in Europe and in the United States too, quite a few in Canada. And the one that stands out in my mind in this case is Tivoli in Italy. Tivoli. Tivoli is the town, and the spot is called the Villa d'Este. A villa, Villa, new word, D apostrophe Este, d'Este. D'Este was a family. I think I've got that right. And what that family did with the villa is they tapped into a very small river in Tivoli. It's high above the plain. And tapped into that river, put a tunnel underneath the town that comes out into their villa. And all of this is very close. And it is spectacular. I mean, I'll give you a link my wife and I visited Tivoli, Villa d'Este, I didn't have a camera with me, but we spent a long time in there, and it's just fountain after fountain after fountain, done for beauty. So, and there's no reason why something like that couldn't be done in that cul-de-sac, because there is that huge supply of water. Now in Tivoli, I don't know exactly how many gallons goes through that place, but it's probably comparable. Even though they tapped into a river, a small river, to do it, not a spring, they had such a source of water. And the garden that they made, I mean, I'll give you a link, and I can't really take you there any other way than that. So I wanted to mention that. Oh, and I think there was something else, but I'm sure there was something else I wanted to say related to this, but I think I'll leave it at that. So a couple things. Why you need an inverted siphon at that mill site, and why you would and Tivoli. See, I'm shifting over now to the idea of, so you've got all that water. What are you going to do with it? It could, well, I eventually hope to meet and talk to the landscape architect that Jeff is going to engage or has already engaged with this project that he has in mind. Bye for now.